Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. Interesting video right here. We're going to be going through the top 20 players that their contract is set to expire in the summer transfer window, and I'm going to have my thoughts where the player I think should go, if should go maybe to a big club. Let's get into it. First of all, we have Fabinho at Al Ittihad, contract expiring in the summer, and he was recently called up to the Brazilian national team under Carlo Ancelotti for the first time in like 2 years, which I think it's a step in the right direction for the Saudi League, that, you know, the players that are playing there are still representing their national team. We saw N'Golo Kante at the Euros, despite playing in the Saudi League as well. And maybe Fabinho went a little bit early, even though, you know, he was a little bit cooked towards the end of his Liverpool career. I think he could go to, you know, a top-ish club in maybe Serie A, Ligue 1. Obviously, previously played at AS Monaco, so maybe could go to, I don't know, Lyon. I think Lyon would love to use Fabinho and his versatility, experienced. Even Mars, maybe not Marseille, but maybe Lyon, you know, with their economical situation and everything. I genuinely think Fabinho could return back to Europe if he wants to. He's already gotten enough bag in Ittihad. Maybe he wants more, but obviously hasn't set to extend. Maybe he extends and stays in Saudi League as well. Next up is, I could be going to Brazilian League as well. Flamengo, Botafogo or something. Next up is Antonio Rüdiger, and I think this is a really calm one. I think Saudi Arabia is calling Antonio Rüdiger. Antonio Rüdiger is obviously a Muslim player as well, and we've definitely seen, if you're a Muslim football player, there's a way higher likelihood of you going to Saudi Arabia because you would just feel more comfortable there. And I think Antonio Rüdiger has had a very good football career and did it really well. At Real Madrid with the Champions League and so on. And I think his time is up. Madrid are obviously not going to extend him. I don't think a top club in Europe would go for him. He was obviously a free agent when he went from Chelsea to Madrid, but I don't see a top club going in for Rüdiger. So I think Saudi Arabia is the perfect place for Antonio Rüdiger to go to. Next up is Rayan, a right winger, 19-year-old at Vasco da Gama. And look, if you're a 19-year-old, if you're young and, you know, have potential, it's either that Rayan doesn't want to extend and wants to, you know, get the signing bonus or so on, or he isn't that good. But he has an 80 million market valuation, has gone up recently, so he's probably a cheeky winger. Could probably see him go to the Premier League, where he will earn majority of the money, because if he's running down his contract, I think it's all about economics. So probably going to predict Rayan to go, I don't know, maybe cheeky Burnley, cheeky Sunderland, or something like that. Just a random Premier League team that will offer him the most money. Next up is Rayan Sessegnon, and yeah, also going up here as well, showing that he's in good form. Sessegnon obviously came through the... Did he come through the Fulham Academy, I think? I think he was part of the team that got promoted as well. I don't know why I have a feeling he played for Spurs. Maybe he was linked to Spurs. But yeah, he's obviously not reached his potential, but he's still 25. I don't know. He's probably going to go to another mid-table club in the Premier League. Could see him go to Serie A. There have been some recent English players, especially black English players, going to the Serie A, and I think that could be a good move for him. You know, he's more of a left wing back rather than a left back, and Serie A employs a lot of five at the back systems. Next up is Oscar Mingueza. Very interesting that... First of all, it's red, and that his contract is set to expire, because I remember Oscar Mingueza last season with Celta Vigo. He was really good, and I mean, Celta Vigo are playing, I think, in Conference League or Europa League this season, which means they were one of the better teams in La Liga last season. And I even remember some reports Barca were looking to try to get him back, and I think Barca should definitely look into it. I know that they're going to extend Eder Garcia, who technically is the backup right back to Kunde, but if Barca can get, you know, Barca with their economical stature and situation, they need to look at opportunities like this. And I think getting Oscar Mingueza for free would be an absolutely great move. And I think Oscar Mingueza would love to come back to FC Barcelona. If he doesn't go to Barca, probably Premier League with the money they got there, or I don't know, I have a feeling of a cheeky Bundesliga signing. Maybe it goes to Bayer Leverkusen. You got Grimaldo, you got Mingueza, two Spanish fullbacks. Next up is Harry Wilson, another player that obviously didn't reach his potential. 28 years of age, Fulham. Yeah, he's probably going to go to another mid-table Premier League club. Not that really much to talk about that. Yves Bissouma, I actually made a transfer Paris Saint-Germain video, and I talked about the opportunity of signing Yves Bissouma. Obviously, he was playing in Ligue 1 before. He has the experience of the league, and he's a very good player. I don't know the exact reason why Tottenham are going to let him go for free. Maybe he's injury prone, maybe he hasn't performed that well, but Could see him actually go back to Ligue 1, a good club in Ligue 1, so maybe like a Marseille and Arcelon and Lyon. I think that's where he should be heading at. Vitali Janelt, Brentford, 20 million, defensive midfielder. I have absolutely no idea who this is. German. I guess he goes to the Bundesliga and goes to Stuttgart. James Garner. Again, I don't know who these Premier League bumps are, but Everton. He will go to Nottingham Forest on a free. Marco Sensi. Oh, really interesting. I mean, I think Bournemouth, out of all the players we have looked into, I think this is the player where the club needs to extend him. Bournemouth obviously lost Dean Huijsen and Zabarny, and Sensi has been really good for them. I think Bournemouth, at least before the City game, was sitting like 3rd or 4th in the Premier League, and he's been very good. I remember his mistake in the first game. Obviously, did not get called out by the ref, but I think that Bournemouth should definitely look into extending him. If he leaves, with him being, Italian-Argentinian, I see him going to the Serie A, to a topper club. Honestly, he could go maybe to maybe Roma, go for him as an opportunity. Gasperini, he loves opportunistic signings. Next up is Weston McKennie. I mean, I have no clue how he's still at Juventus, how he's still starting games. I mean, he was starting in their Champions League clash versus Real Madrid recently. I mean, it smells Premier League. A little bit Bundesliga. There have been a lot of American players in the Bundesliga. Maybe Ligue 1. Ligue 1 could be cheeky for Weston McKennie, but I definitely see Premier League. Definitely Premier League. Mid-table Premier League club. Let's go with... not mid-table. I think he can do a little bit better. Maybe Bournemouth. No. Bournemouth, I think they play very technical football. Brighton as well. Maybe Fulham. Next up is John Stones. Ooh. I mean, when you see this 31, played at a big club, has already won everything to win in club football and everything, you would say Saudi. But, as I said before, if you're Muslim, African, Asian, there's a high likelihood. Even South Americans love to go to Saudi Arabia. John Stones, I'm feeling more MLS, like Thomas Muller and so on. That's why a lot of Europeans, even Lewandowski, I know Saudi are pushing for him, but I have a feeling Lewandowski would opt to join the MLS instead of the Saudi Arabian league. So I'm probably going to say MLS, maybe LA Galaxy. I don't see him going to another Premier League club. I think he's also a little bit cooked with injuries and so on, so he's not going to play that much, cannot play the highest intensity football. And that's it. I think John Stones has already won everything, a bit similar to Rüdiger. So I'm going to actually predict MLS, LAFC or LA Galaxy. Serge Gnabry. This is a really interesting one because Serge Gnabry, obviously, he had that peak season with Flick, and ever since then went down, became a bum. Every Bayern fan wanted him out, and he was decent last season on the company, but this season has been very great in replacing Jamal Musiala. And I think Serge Gnabry, with his versatility, can play as a false nine, can play as a second striker, can play on the wing. Maybe not in the wing anymore; it's a bit too old now. Maybe against lower teams in the Bundesliga. So I would maybe think about extending him. The only issue I think Bayern have is that Gnabry has a really high wage. So I don't think Bayern will be looking to extend him, honestly. Where could he go? Is it a bit too early for Saudi, maybe? If not, I see him going to Saudi. I don't think he will downgrade in the Bundesliga. Maybe comes back to the Prem. I think he came out from Arsenal's academy. So maybe going back to the Prem, if any club there wants him. Or Saudi Arabia. Next up is Leon Goretzka. Same situation here. Bayern are definitely not going to extend him. He has a high wage and he absolutely stinks on the pitch as well. Where will Goretzka go? Maybe MLS already, joining Thomas Muller in Vancouver. Could see that happening. Next up is Eric Garcia. From the reports I've read, it's very likely will extend the FC Barcelona, so there isn't really that much to say. Obviously, Paris Saint-Germain will link to him. Versatile, can play as a centre-back, can play as a right-back as well. But I see him extending at FC Barcelona. Next up is Vitali Mukulenko, Everton. Price going down, so he's not performing as well as he should. I have no clue. Ukrainian, I don't know what the guess should be. Definitely not to a Russian league. Maybe he goes to another Premier League club. Maybe Fulham again. Ruben Neves. Ooh, he could come back. Obviously, he's playing with Portugal in the national team a lot. So I think he has a good opportunity in coming back Europe. He's already got on his back from El Hilal in Saudi Arabia. I mean, he's been posting on Instagram where Ronaldo is getting easy penalties and stuff. So I don't think he would like going there, staying in Saudi. I could see him come back. Could be to the Premier League. He obviously had experience there. Could see him come back to the Premier League. Could go to Porto. He's from Porto. One of the two. Can't pick one. Premier League or Porto for Ruben Neves. I think La Liga would suit him as well. But again, La Liga don't pay that high of wages. Next up is Julian Brandt. I don't know. Another player that, didn't reach his potential. I think he had a lot of injury proneness, but I also think bad mentality as well. I don't think the Premier League is that interested in him. He could go to Brighton. You could see Julian Brandt downgrade to a Brighton, maybe Monaco, another Bundesliga club. I don't know. This is a really hard one. Let's go for the Premier League. Let's go for Brighton. Next up is Maignan, 30 years of age. He's getting older, but it's still a prime age for a goalkeeper. And he just talks about the downfall of Maignan. If this was Maignan 2-3 years ago, all clubs were pushing in for him. But he can still turn it around. He's still the starting goalkeeper for the French national team. I think he just needs to leave AC Milan. And I would say that to most top players at AC Milan. AC Milan and Serie A football in general, majority of it is not that serious, especially AC Milan. But AC Milan, they're performing that well. Honestly, if I was Maignan, I think AC Milan haven't lost in their last 10 games under Allegri. I would maybe trust the process, but I don't know. Maignan has already trusted the AC Milan process a lot and hasn't seen too many fruits out of it. If not, it just screams Premier League. It just screams Premier League. Chelsea, were after him in the summer. I think Chelsea wanted to pay like 15 million, but AC Milan wanted like 30, 40. So I think he will go to Chelsea, honestly. Yes, they have Robert Sanchez and Petrovic and some other goalkeepers, but Chelsea, that would be a strong one. Timber's brother here. Again, this screams Premier League. Brighton. It screams Brighton for Timber there. Bernardo Silva screams Saudi Arabia, just like Ruben Neves, just like some other Portuguese players. I think he will definitely go to Saudi Arabia. He's already done everything he can do in world football. Could see if Pep stays even longer, want to extend Bernardo Silva for like a 2-year contract because of his versatility and loyalty and all of that. But if not, he will go to Saudi Arabia. Dusan Vlahovic obviously could not reach his potential and everything. I have no clue. It's a very tight one. It's a very hard one. He will definitely leave. Absolutely don't see him extending, even though Igor Tudor likes him. He's not going to stay in Serie A. He could go to the Premier League and try an adventure there. If not, maybe Bundesliga, maybe La Liga, like a Villarreal, like a Sevilla. Oh, this is a hard one. I guess I'm just going to go for the Premier League again. He could be one of the early players that goes to Saudi as well. I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of Balkan players have gone to Saudi Arabia already. Let's go for a Prem club. I don't know. Brentford. Let's go. Mark Guéhi. All right, now we're coming into the top 3 here. All centre-backs as well. Free agents in the summer. Mark Guéhi, Ibrahima Konate, Dayot Upamecano. I don't see any of them extending. The most likely one, I guess, is Upamecano. But I don't think Bayern will give Upamecano what he wants. Konate, it's not going to happen. And Guéhi is 100% going to leave. I mean, he was supposed to leave last summer as well. So, and I think some similar clubs are fighting for all the similar players. We obviously know Real Madrid have interest in Ibrahima Konate and Dayot Upamecano. Paris saint-germain as well are interested in both players. So maybe PSG get Upamecano, Real get Konate, or PSG get Konate, Real get Upamecano. I've also seen some reports that Madrid want both of them. So, Mark Guéhi obviously was linked with Liverpool. They will probably push in for him again. And I think that's an easy one to predict, especially with Konate leaving. I think Mark Guéhi will be going. I know that Bayern are looking at him as a replacement if Upamecano leaves. But honestly, I think Mark Guéhi, it's a really simple one. Liverpool FC. Next up is Ibrahima Konate and Dayot Upamecano. I'm going to be a little bit biased because out of the two, I want Dayot Upamecano. So I'm going to say Dayot Upamecano. The perfect place for him to go to is Paris Saint-Germain. Champions League winners, great squad. He's in his prime. He will get the money he wants. Same agent as Desiree Doué, Brady Barcola and Ousmane Dembélé. I mean, it's a perfect place for Dayot Upamecano to be. Obviously, tough competition with Madrid. And, Madrid is a very attractive club to be at. But honestly, looking at Madrid now, if you're looking strictly from a sporting, like you want to win the Champions League, go to PSG. PSG have a way higher likelihood of winning the Champions League in the upcoming 5 years than Real Madrid have. And yes, I said 5 because Paris Saint-Germain's future looks so bright, and Madrid's future, it doesn't look shit, but it's nowhere close to Paris Saint-Germain. Therefore, Ibrahimo Konate, Real Madrid's plan B, will be joining Real Madrid. And that finishes off for the video. An interesting video. You know, we're having an international break, so trying to figure out some new ideas and everything. But hopefully, guys, have enjoyed this video. And as usual, allez, 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 Paris.